Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to review Highest to Lowest, which is the new Spike Lee film or Spike Lee joint. And I was curious to see this movie because I wanted to see something kind of new and original and refreshing. And I didn't even realize that this movie was like a remake or a reimagining of an older film. And so it was probably the wrong movie to choose. It was like a it was like a big like I was kind of like, oh, I'll take a chance with this, because I have only seen one other Spike Lee movie, which is He Got Game, which I wasn't really a fan of it. I thought it was weird. It didn't really do anything for me. And, this movie had the same problems that movie had, but so many more. I can see this movie, because we'll get into the plot, but overall, I can see this movie being on some of like the best worst movies of all time lists, because this movie is just bizarre. It is 2 hours of bizarro filmmaking. It is so strange, the choices in this movie. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, it's that bad. Like I was struggling to get through this movie. I was trying to. I made it through though. I should have a T-shirt that says, "I survived highest to lowest," and I will not be watching it again. And thank God for that. And so let's get into the movie. So this movie, it's all about Denzel Washington, that's another reason why I chose this movie, is because I love Denzel Washington. I think he's a fantastic actor. I love watching him in movies. I feel like if he's in a movie, it's an automatic maybe. Or more times than not, an automatic yes. He is just amazing. He is so good. And he actually is like really, really cool too. Like the stuff that he says in interviews, and that's another thing too, is that you can tell that he thought the script was trash, because a lot of the stuff that he has said in recent interviews feels like it's directly like referencing this movie. Like he had a quote where he said, cancel culture doesn't matter because I didn't sign up for it, and so like he's saying like fuck cancel culture and stuff like that. And this movie we will get into, but this movie glorifies cancel culture, and it glorifies internet modern Gen Z culture of like canceling people and all that. And it's really, really stupid. And then also, he had an interview where he said, nowadays, you don't even need to be talented to get famous. You don't even need to be talented to get into Hollywood. Back in my day, we actually had to be good at what we did. And in this movie, sorry guys, in this movie, they actually, I don't know why they put this woman in a movie, but if you guys don't know Ice Spice, who is a terrible, terrible rapper, a terrible singer, terrible, she is she's like a creature from hell. She's like a hell demon, hell spawn. When I see her, I want to say, go away, demon. Back off, demon. Demon be gone. And she's in this movie. She has her acting debut in a Spike Lee movie And I have respect for Spike Lee, even though I don't like what he did at the Oscars with when Green Book won, which Green Book was a fantastic movie. It did not deserve the hate that it got, but I have respect for him. But like, why would you put Ice Spice in a movie? Why would you let her filmmaking debut be a Spike Lee movie? I mean, this movie, it's got all these talented people. It's got like Jeffrey Wright, it's got Denzel Washington, and others that I haven't. It has Perry White from Superman, the new Superman movie. I don't know his name, but why is Ice Spice in this movie? Because she is terrible. She comes on screen and she's like, "Look, I'm acting. I'm Ice Spice. And I'm acting. I'm a character." Like it's really really cringeworthy. And her cameo, her little debut, is one of the many reasons why this movie is flaming hot trash. So, as I was saying, it feels like when Denzel said that, when he did that interview, he was talking about Ice Spice because he had to interact with her too. That's another thing. You know, like, I would love it if my debut movie was getting to act in a scene with Denzel Washington. But unfortunately, I'm not an ugly ass bitch who does terrible rap music and is friends with Taylor Swift. So I can't do that. I can't be in a scene with Denzel Washington right now for my debut. Isn't that fun? Isn't that funny? But Ice Spice gets to share a scene with Denzel Washington. And the look on his face in that scene, it's like he knew. He knew. And that's another thing too. You know, I guess this is a part of Spike Lee's filmmaking, but there's a lot of these like blank reaction shots. And I will say, I admire how, even though I thought this movie was very slow and boring, I admire how he chose to draw things out and not make everything fast-paced to cater to Gen Z. And I really liked how he, just let scenes breathe. And he didn't cut things down so that Gen Z could be happy. And with their TikTok bullshit, their TikTok filmmaking rules. So there were some scenes where, you had these like reaction shots and you had these really long shots of people when they were talking to each other. And I kind of like that. I kind of appreciated that. But then there's a lot of shots in this movie where Denzel Washington is just looking like he's so bored. Like, he looks like he's so bored. He looks like, man, I need to quit acting right now because I didn't want to be here. He looks so uncomfortable. It's really funny. I mean, and it just, this movie is like a gift from the bad movie gods. That's how bad it is. So the story is about this music titan. He's a music mogul, and he has the best ears in the business. And do you know how I know that? It's because Denzel Washington's character says to the audience, to the characters in the movie, that he has the best ears in the business. It's not enough. Like, that's another, it's like show don't tell. Show don't tell. But what do you have in this movie? Denzel Washington, he's got to tell the audience that, I have the best ears in the business. I know what I'm listening to. Like, that is just bad filmmaking. It's terrible. It's weird. Like, you would think that Spike Lee that he would be versed in cinema. I mean, he obviously is. He saw the original movie Kurosawa made that. I have never seen a Kurosawa movie, and so fuck me. But like, it's things like that. Like, this script is terrible, and the script itself. There's terrible dialogue. There's this scene where they're on a train, and characters are ranting and raving and shouting about baseball teams. Excuse me. And they're shouting about how Boston Red Sox suck and the Yankees rule. And there's a guy who just walks up to the screen, up to the camera, and he looks right into the camera and he says, "Fuck Boston," or something, and then he walks away. And it's like, what are we doing here? It's things like that in this movie, and there's a lot of other stuff. I mean, but okay, back to the story, because I know this review is all over the place so far, but I'm like a kid in a candy store with this movie. Like, I could probably do a commentary of this movie, but unfortunately it would require watching the movie again, so I'm not doing that. But this guy, he's a music titan, and the whole first like 30 minutes is all about like him deciding on a business deal, and he's gonna buy the company and that he works for, and he wants to get into the next steps or something, and then his son gets kidnapped, and this other guy's son gets kidnapped as well, and then they accidentally let Denzel Washington's son go. And if you guys are already confused, you're screwed. But basically, all in all, like, the kidnappers, they kept the wrong son. They meant to keep Denzel Washington's son, and they gave back the wrong one. They only meant to kidnap one person, and so they screwed up, and then they screwed up again. And so the majority of this movie is just Denzel Washington thinking about if he should pay the ransom for this other guy's son. And I guess I can get into spoilers because I don't really care. So if you guys don't want spoilers, then probably click off of this video. But I just, overall, I guess I could give like a quick summarization. This movie was really, really bad. It had a lot of weird choices in it, weird creative choices. And ironically, the movie's all about music. But ironically, I would say the worst part of this movie is the music. The music in this movie is terrible. It is abysmal. It is straight up garbage. The music that they play is so weird. They have these scenes go on, these intense suspense sequences, and then underneath that, they're playing this like, and they're playing this like piano music, and it's so weird. It doesn't fit the movie at all, and it makes everything seem so casual, and it sucks all of the suspense and all of the tension out of the movie, because the music is just like it's the weirdest thing I've ever heard. Like, even in the final action sequence, there is an action sequence in this movie, and it's pretty hilarious. It's like they cut like 100 different times while Denzel Washington is like doing something. He's doing an action sequence, and they just keep cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting because Denzel is so old and he can't do it all in one take anymore. And they're playing this music. They're playing this really weirdo music that just doesn't fit the movie at all. And there's so many times throughout the movie where the movie is just begging. It's begging for music to help the scenes and to help the sequences. But then again, I will say too, this is something I've discovered with, making my own film, is that you need to be able to watch the movie without music and still think that it's good. And if I had to watch this movie without music, I would probably jump out the window, which wouldn't be that bad because I would just land in the bush. There's a bush in front of my window, but I would still jump out the window and I would run away, and you guys would never hear from me again. So that's how bad this movie is, and it's boring. It's bland. It's just not interesting at all. The acting in this movie, the characters are terrible. I don't really care about any of the characters in this movie. There is a villain, and I did hate the villain. Like, I did not like him. But other than that, I didn't feel any emotion about the characters. I didn't care about the kid who got kidnapped. I didn't care about the dad who wanted Denzel Washington to give the ransom money. I just didn't care at all. Nothing about this movie was good. The acting was so bad. It was like watching robots. Like, the acting, it was so bad that it was funny. Like, you guys saw that the new War of the Worlds movie with Ice Cube? That's what the acting is like in this movie. And it really shows that, like, even if you have Denzel Washington or Jeffrey Wright in your movie, that doesn't mean that the movie is automatically going to be good, because this movie is just, it's awful. The acting is awful. Like, it reminds me of a Neil Breen movie. If you guys have ever seen Neil Breen movies, that's how bad the acting is. So overall, this is one of the worst movies that I've seen all year. And there's a lot of other things too, so let's get into it. And also, this movie has terrible pacing. Like, there's no sense of urgency. There's also, in the first part of the movie, there's actually a lot of key scenes that are missing from the movie. Like, they just straight up don't show things, and they choose to tell you instead of showing you. And it's really, really frustrating and strange. And it's an example of, like, this weird thing nowadays where, they'll just cut these important scenes out of a movie or a story, I guess to appeal to Gen Z or something. Like, apparently Gen Z doesn't want to see the full story because this movie was not a complete story. They cut out parts of the story in the first act of this movie, and that is another issue that I had. But the pacing was really bad, because the pacing, like, there's little tiny chunks throughout the movie where they speed up the movie and there's actually a little bit of action, but then it'll just slow down to a snail's pace, and there'll be like just 30 to 40 minutes of characters just talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. Just so much talking in this movie. It's enough to never make me want to talk again, which is really bad because I just had laryngitis. I couldn't talk for a week. And so the fact that this movie is so bad that it makes me not want to talk again, that just shows how bad it is. And I know I'm being pretty mean with this movie, but it really deserves it. I mean, I've been really harsh to some movies, and some TV show episodes. Like, last week, I was a little mean to the Dexter episode. This week, it deserved it. But last week, I was a little too mean. I was a little too negative, even though I didn't even do that review. My mom had to read it for me, Safi. She had to read it for me. But This movie is one of those movies that actually deserves the hate. It deserves all of the hate that it got. It is a terrible movie, and I can't say that enough, honestly. So yeah. There is a part, I want to talk about one of the most bizarre parts of the movie. This is an example of how this movie just felt like it took place in the Twilight Zone. There's a part in the movie where they literally stop the movie and they show you the phone. They show you a cell phone, and this woman says, I sent out an Ebony alert. You guys ever heard of a fucking Ebony alert? Like, I mean, are you kidding me? They stopped the movie to have this commercial about some random thing that they have, I guess, in New York only, and it's called an Ebony alert. Just the weirdest thing I've ever heard of. It's probably a real thing, which makes it even weirder. Hashtag WTF is up with that. But they stopped the movie so that they can advertise what an Ebony alert is. Like, have you ever seen, like, in a true crime movie, did they stop the movie so that they could have a commercial for an Amber Alert, which is the real alert? Or maybe that's just for children. I don't know. I don't know any of that bullshit, honestly. I do know that Amber Alerts are the ones that I always get. I've never gotten an Ebony Alert before. I guess it's some sort of special alert for special types of people. I don't know. It's very, very weird. There's also a part in the movie where Denzel is considering whether or not he should give the money to the dad so that he can pay the ransom. And this is how you know that modern society is completely screwed up. The other character, instead of talking about how, like, you know, maybe it would just be the right thing to do. Maybe you would look better as a person if you did this. Instead of saying that, they threaten Denzel with cancel culture. They say, if you don't give this guy the money, if you don't give this guy the ransom, people are going to cancel you. That's what this movie is endorsing. It's endorsing cancel culture. It's endorsing this retarded society of people that thinks that they have the power to cancel a person. So they actually try to advocate that cancel culture is worse than someone who kidnaps a child so that he can get ransom money from a millionaire. That's how disgusting this movie is. Okay, guys? Okay, I only have a couple of notes left. And there is also a scene in the movie where Denzel has a rap battle with the bad guy. He tracks down the bad guy, and he goes into his recording studio, and he faces him down, and they have like a battle, like a words battle. And actually, that was one of the better parts of the movie because it was so hilarious. But it was again so strange. I mean, they're having a rap battle. They're spitting rhymes at each other. Like, what are we doing here? This guy kidnapped children, and you're sitting there having a rap battle with him. I mean, what the hell? Like, just what the absolute hell? And yeah, like, why even bother? And then near the end of the movie, they stop the movie so that the bad guy can sing, like, in a rap music video. Like, he's in his prison outfit, and he's he's doing like a music video, and then Denzel speaks with him. He has a last dialogue with him, dialogue scene that goes on for like 20 minutes. And there are some elements that kind of reminded me of King of Comedy, but it just really, really weird. I mean, this movie really weirded me out. And then at the very end of the movie, after all the stuff that's happened that needed to happen, they're like, no, this movie's not over. We're going to give you a 10-minute scene about this new woman, this new singer, and she is auditioning for Denzel, and he has to listen to her sing. And so the last 10 minutes of the movie is like like this slowed down scene that, like, I gotta say, like, this whole movie felt like the first act of a bad movie. Like, it never felt like the movie went from Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3. It always felt like this movie is in the first or maybe the second act. It never felt like the movie's finally going somewhere. It always felt like, hey, we're just gonna dick around and now we're gonna have a 10-minute music video. Now we're gonna have a 10-minute scene where this character, she's like, oh yeah, I can handle the memes. That's another thing that happens. Denzel, is part of his audition process, he asks his new talent, can you handle the success? Can you handle the failure? Can you handle the memes? He asks people if they can handle the memes. See, that's what I mean, guys. This movie is really funny in a good, bad way. It is really, really funny in that way. I mean, you could probably get drunk and you could really, really tear this movie apart. I mean, I'm probably being a little too nice to this movie. Like, that's the thing, too. There were a couple of things that I should say, I guess, that that I liked, or things that I think could have led to a better movie. Or what am I saying? I'm being a little bit mean. So I wanna say a couple of nice things about the movie, because I feel like this movie might be like in the top 5 worst movies of the year, and I'm seriously considering it. So yeah, there is let's see, I'm trying to think of. Oh yeah, there's a thing that happens in the movie where because Denzel gave all of this money to the kidnapper as ransom, usually in these movies, there's no problem with that. Like, oh, okay, the guy gets the money and he gives it to the kidnapper. But in this movie, the people that he lent, or yeah, he why am I forgetting that word? The people that he borrowed the money from, because I don't want to say the wrong thing and seem like an idiot. The people that he borrowed the money from, they expected for him to use that money to pay to buy the company, to buy his company. And so they are going to charge him with fraud unless he returns the money in 2 weeks. And so that's what triggers him to go on, like, basically a GTA mission. But I thought that it was interesting that, like, it didn't go so smoothly. Like, it was like, okay, like, that's a little complication there. Like, that never happens in these types of movies, in these crime movies. It always happens where it's like, oh, okay, here's the money, and there's no problems. But in this movie, it's like, well, now you're kind of screwed. And then also, I will say, the part where he kind of goes on a GTA mission with Jeffrey Wright, that part honestly could have been the best part of the movie. And it could, if they had made that the whole movie, I think that this movie would have been a solid B plus, or a B or a B minus, because It would just all be dependent on the music, because the music is terrible. I hated the music with a passion. So if they had the same music, it wouldn't matter if that was the whole movie or not. But there's this really good scene where he goes into the bad guy's girlfriend's apartment, or his wife, or whatever she is, and he sits down with her and has a talk with her, and she doesn't know that he knows that the other guy stole the money, and she doesn't know that he stole the money, and above all, she actually has a bracelet on that Denzel's wife had and she owned. And the kidnapper forced him to include that with the ransom. And so I thought there were little things like that if they had made that the whole movie, if they had made this like a Hitchcock suspense thriller with Denzel and Jeffrey Wright, you could have had an incredible movie. At the very least, you could have had a fun movie. But this is just, Apple TV Plus, they like to give like a shit ton of money to like a famous filmmaker like Ridley Scott, when he made his shitty Napoleon movie that sucked. They like to give like a shit ton of money to a famous filmmaker and then let them make like a 4-hour movie and then not give any feedback, not give any help, and then when the movie fails, it's like, oh, what did we do wrong? Oh, no, what should we have done? That's what they do. That's what Apple TV Plus does. That's what they've been doing lately. Let's give a filmmaker millions of dollars. They can make a 4-hour movie, and it's boring, it's lackluster, it's bad, it's shitty like this movie, and then let's just, oh, what did we do wrong? Why is no one watching it? I don't know. Not to say that I love long movies, but this movie, for the story that it had, it should have been like an hour and 30 minutes. And the reason that I'm saying that is because they didn't have any good music to help out the movie, which would have really, really helped. The acting was bad, and the movie itself, like the story, the content was just not that interesting. And so, yeah, I really, really did not like this movie. I regret watching this movie. And if you guys are interested in seeing it because you're a fan of Denzel Washington or you're a fan of Spike Lee, I would highly, highly recommend waiting for this movie to go to streaming. Because at least when it goes to streaming, you can hit the pause button. You can get up and go to the bathroom and be in the bathroom for like an hour and forget about it, and then come back and watch a little bit more, and then put it on pause, and then watch a better movie, and then watch this movie a little bit again, and then put it on pause, and then go, I don't know, jack off to Ice Spice for an hour, and then come back to the movie, and you can finish it at your own pace. But to sit in a theater and watch this movie, you are asking for a miserable, miserable experience. There's also a lot of, in this is why I can tell that this movie, like, they just let this guy do whatever he wanted. Because there are so many times throughout this movie where it just feels like Spike Lee going on an old man rant. Like, there's multiple parts in the movie in the beginning where they're ranting about cell phones. They're ranting about how, like, oh, maybe you can get off your phone for 5 minutes. Like, we haven't heard that, like, a million fucking times since, like, 2011, 2012. Like, maybe something would happen if you didn't look at your phone all the time. Maybe you could talk to people. Like, I am so sick and tired of hearing that in like these modern movies. And I'm just sick of cell phones in movies in general. Like, it's better to just not even acknowledge that they exist. Because that way, you don't have to have the commentary about cell phones being bad, and you don't even have to worry about it because you don't even acknowledge that cell phones exist. So, yeah. Let's see, is there anything else? No. So overall, in terms of food, as I said, this was a very strange movie. Like, that is the number one word that I would use to describe this movie. Denzel acted like he didn't want to be there. And all the other characters, they talked and they acted like they were in a Neil Breen movie. And there was some weird, like, King of Comedy stuff at the end with the bad guy, where he became popular at the end. That was really weird. I didn't like that. But overall, this movie is like an ice cream sandwich, because it feels like, on the surface, maybe this could have been a good movie. It could have been a solid, lean thriller, Hitchcock, suspense, action, just intense Denzel, powerhouse actor. But instead, you took this ice cream sandwich, you took out the ice cream in the middle, and you put sardines in the ice cream, and then you mixed up the ice cream, and then you put like some mustard on it, and then you put that in the ice cream sandwich, and you said, here, enjoy this ice cream sandwich. It's something different. It's a reimagining of that other movie. That's what this movie's like. It's like a bizarro ice cream sandwich with sardine ice cream and mustard. I would never watch this movie again, as I've said many times in this video, and I hope that Ice Spice does not get another movie to act in, because she is a... You know the thing that I hate about her, and I hate about actors like her, or I guess just people like her, because I don't consider her an actor, or an actress. That's what she is, an actress. You know what I hate about these types of people, though? I hate that, like, when you see her on screen, she's not putting any effort into being a character. She's not even trying to be in a movie. You know what she's doing? She's being a tourist. It's called tourist acting. And I've actually had multiple actors that I've had come over, and they've done a couple of scenes, and then I fired them, because that's become a thing nowadays with a lot of young people, especially young women, is that they do this thing called tourist acting, where, they really like movies, or they really like attention. They really like being popular. They really like fame. Like the bad guy in this movie, that's what he's all about. He's all about money and fame. But they don't care about the craft. They don't care about the character, the story. And so when it actually comes to acting, the acting side of things, they treat it like, oh, I'm in a movie. It's like a meta type of thing. Like, look at me. I'm in a movie. Isn't that funny? I'm in a movie, like actors in movies. And to me, it's completely disrespectful. It takes all of the focus out of the movie. And it really cheapens the film. And it really cheapens filmmaking as a whole, that you have these people. And that's why that's why Hollywood has gotten so bad now, because those types of people, those tourist actors, they should be filtered out. They should be filtered out so that they can't, come in and be like, oh, look at me, I'm in a movie and I want to get some attention on Instagram. But instead, Hollywood has chosen to not only enable tourist actors, but to make it feel like fame and getting attention on social media is all that's important nowadays. Being talented, being a good actor, it's not important. All that's important is that you're Ice Spice and that you are friends with Taylor Swift. So I really do not support this movie because you'll be supporting Ice Spice. And that is like, I mean, it honestly, like, that's just, ew. So yeah, and the editing of this movie is bad too. I forgot to mention that because I mean, it's kind of an obvious thing. I know I seem like a jackass now, but it is kind of an obvious thing if I say that the pacing is bad, and I say the movie's boring, and I say the movie has bad music, and they cut out key pieces of the story. You could kind of surmise from that I think that the movie has bad editing. But I just wanted to say that just so that I could say that this movie has shitty fucking editing, just like everything else about this movie. So, please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought of highest to lowest. I'm not even going to bother advertising my Patreon because I know that probably not many people are going to see this movie or even watch this review. But just in case, I do have a Patreon. It is the Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies Patreon. And no matter which tier you choose, I will put you in the credits for one of my future film projects or my Goosebumps fan series, or just anything that I make. And there's going to be tons of stuff on the Patreon, tons of bonus videos, fun little side videos, commentaries, reviews, you name it. And a lot of filmmaking behind the scenes too. So if you really want to see what it's like to start from the bottom and build your way up like a true filmmaker, like a grimy, gritty bottom film. Okay, that sounded really wrong. Okay, I'm a gritty, what do they call a scrappy young filmmaker. Then you can go over to our Patreon and you can check me out. Okay, that sounds bad again. It is not an OnlyFans, guys. It is a Patreon. It is not an OnlyFans. And I will not be making one of those. I can guarantee you that. And then, did I already say please subscribe to this channel? If I didn't, please subscribe to this channel. And thank you for watching. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.